How's it going, everybody? This is Beat the Bush. Today I'm going to talk about renting versus buying a home. Now there's so many variables involved that if you tweak each one just a certain way, you're going to sway the decision towards either renting or buying. But let me just say that 95% of the time you're probably better off buying. The median home price in the United States is about $188K, so I'm going to use $200K as our example. The first thing I have to fix is that the rent is comparable to a mortgage for a comparable place that you stay in. For example, if you rent a one bedroom, one bathroom place to stay at, let's say that costs $1,267, and instead you buy this place, the mortgage is going to cost the same after you put a reasonable amount of down payment. Let's just say the rent is $1,267 per month and you have $40,000 to buy a home, but instead you don't. You hold it onto it instead, and you assume you're going to get about 8% investing in the stock market. And let's say you know how to do it well, you just put it in some index, and let's say you do get 8%, and you just multiply this for 12 months and you get what you pay for in 1 year. In 1 year you have to pay $15.2K for rent, and instead of investing this $40,000 in buying a home, you put it in the stock market and you get appreciation of 3.2K. Now this is on average. You might lose some, you might gain some, but let's just say for the average, then you subtract the gains out because you are getting this gain, and so that you can put this towards your rent. So really you're only paying $12,000 a year for your rent. On the other hand, if you buy a median price home at $200K and you put this $40K as a down payment, which is the 20% here, and let's just say right now it's about 4% interest rate. This is one of the variables that can change the dynamics a lot. And the monthly payment for the first year is going to be $1,267 as well. This is the same amount you're going to pay for rent versus mortgage. There's going to be property tax on top of this, so it's going to be about $208, 1.25%, 1.5%, or something like that. Because you paid the 20% down, you don't have to pay PMI, private mortgage insurance. And let's just say you don't have any HOA, okay? If you have HOA, it's going to vary quite a bit depending on if you buy at a place that has a high HOA fee. Let's just say it's 0 right now. Now the majority of your mortgage payment is going to be interest payments. About 69% of it is interest, and so this works out to be $874. Now this $874 is tax deductible, so you can kind of subtract about 25% off depending on what tax bracket. So you can feel like you have $218 that you're not paying. But this $218, you can think of this as money you should keep around for maintenance costs. Maybe you need to put in a new roof or something, a new AC system, a new heating system, all kinds of house maintenance thing that you have to put into your home when you own one. And the rest of the payment is in principal, $393. This gets paid into your mortgage, it reduces your principal. And so if the value of your house stays the same, and eventually you sell it, then you're going to get this principal back. Now, because we're assuming this tax advantage is going to be used for maintenance, it's roughly going to be at that amount. We'll just add 208 and this 874 interest payments together, 1,082 times 12. So the outlay you have to pay every year, including tax advantages and property tax, is about $12,900. This is roughly about the same as the rent. And you can argue that a small variable change somewhere, like interest here, or maybe if rent is a little bit more expensive, then you can sway your decision one way or the other. So here are the same numbers in graph form because I like graphs and it illustrates things very well. When you're renting here, you're paying an outlay of $15.2K a year. And if you had $40K and you invested, you're going to reduce the amount of rent that you need to pay to $12K. Now from the previous calculation, I assumed a lot of stuff, but it's roughly minus $12.9K, a little bit worse than renting just based on how the numbers worked out. If your home price appreciate by just 0.5%, okay? 0.5% of this is $1,000. It's gonna bump it up to minus $12K per year, which is roughly the same thing as rent. Now having a 0.5% of home appreciation value is pretty conservative. The home price can fluctuate a lot, especially during the financial crisis, because that dipped like 30%, 40% sometimes in certain areas. How much you gain or lose in net worth is gonna vary a lot after one whole year. The thing to note here is that you put in 20% of down payment and your home price is $200K. If in the event that something bad happens to the economy, the home price drops 20%, now you're gonna lose 40K right there. So your whole principal just completely vanishes, because if you need to sell your home somehow because of some problem that you have at the time, then you're gonna lose money on the transaction. However, if you plan to keep it long-term, you can look at long-term data. The census data here from 1963 to 2008, home appreciation value per year is roughly 5.4%. So I put various scenarios of what would be your total net worth gain or loss depending on how much the home price changes. If it moves 5.4%, you have to pay your mortgage over here, and minus 5.4%, which is 10.8K. Your total outlay for that year will be minus 23.7K. Yes, so in that case, it would be more expensive than renting. However, if it's a normal year and we gain 5.4%, you have an outlay of 12.9K, and then you gain 10.8K in home value, okay? You can't really take this money out. Then really, you're only paying 2.1K for living in that home for 1 year. It's almost like free. And then if it's a great year, let's say you get 10%, you have a minus 12.9K of outlay, but then your home appreciates by 20K, and now you actually appreciated your net worth by 7.1K on top of living in your home for free. So what does this all tell us? It's very important to not buy too high. How do you know it's hot? Well, you don't really know, because a lot of times when it's hot, people go, oh my gosh, it's just gonna keep on going up and up and up. Just like around, 2007, people have really high home prices, people are feeling great, and people just keep on bidding it higher and higher, and then yes, something bad happened and then it crashed. And if you happen to buy at a peak, yes, you are going to lose money. So all of this tells us that it's just like any investment philosophy. You just shouldn't buy high, but knowing when to not buy high is the magic here. When people have a really good sense that the market is too hot, I've heard of some people actually, they sell right at that time and they go, forget this, I'm gonna take my money and run, and they go and rent for a few years, right, until the market cools down a bit, and then when it cools down, they go, okay, it's low enough now, I'm gonna come back and buy. Through this switching, they made, a lot of money, and probably if they did it just right, they probably didn't even have to work. My general view for real estate is that right now it's slightly warm, hot-ish, okay? It's not very, very hot, but if you look at the home prices, it's kind of like the highest it's ever been. Will it keep on going up? I don't know. Maybe it will just keep on going up for, the next 5 years. So it might be good to buy now and then you sell in 5 years right before it goes down. In general though, if you buy and hold for a really long time, you're gonna make money. However, if you buy it high, you're gonna feel pretty painful for the next 3 to 5 years if it tanks right after you buy. You're gonna go, oh my gosh, 200K home, and then suddenly now the home is worth 100K. All of a sudden in 1 year, you lost 100K. That's a big deal. However, if you just hold it long term, it's gonna recover and then it's gonna go back to where it is. Just like the financial crisis in a lot of homes, it kind of dipped, but now it's recovered. So you just gotta wait, 3-5 years before that happens. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. I'm not completely for renting or buying. It really depends on the situation. But the majority of the time, buying is worth it. Don't forget to give me a like, comment down below. Let me know if you're for renting or buying in this current economy. And don't forget to subscribe over here. Thanks for watching.